Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Alien review marathon. Well, it is obvious because now we come to the first sequel to, well, because, ever since the first Alien film came out in 1979, because who'd have thought, and especially its first sequel, and it would take 7 years for its first sequel to come out, and, back then, because it would take a while for sequels to be made, and you know what, because it took sequels quite a while to be made and be in development and such, they would sometimes turn out pretty good, and in this case, its first sequel, just beyond, I'm sure, what people were expecting and how good it would turn out. And, yep, that's right, guys. And joining me, well, is my dad, aka Little Blue. Me and him, we are reviewing from 1986, Aliens. Yes, Aliens. What a masterpiece of a sequel this is. And especially, it's thanks to the one and only James Cameron when he stepped into the Alien franchise. And also fresh off of the success of one film that would really launch his career, the first Terminator film. And 2 years after he did the first Terminator film, well, he would find himself, doing the first sequel to Aliens, and, from one masterpiece of a film to another, in this case, a film sequel. Yeah, it was amazing. And, what would come next more for James Cameron, as we all know. So, the first things we have to say on Aliens, I'll start, because I'll be completely honest with you guys. Aliens was my first Alien film. It was. And surprisingly, I remember, and you would remember this, you would know about this, because I watched Aliens at a young age. Because I think I might have seen the whole thing, maybe bits and pieces, but I remember seeing this at a young age. I remember we owned a DVD copy of it, and so I do recall I wasn't fazed by it and such, but and just watching it some more, and especially, one time we saw this on the big screen because of Flashback Cinema, just seeing it on the big screen, a masterpiece of a sequel, fantastic, and, rewatching it some more, and because, knowing that we would be reviewing this, and because of the Alien review marathon, yeah, and the thing is, I heard about this. For some people, if anybody were to watch Aliens, even before watching the first film, I think it's not a big deal, because when you watch Aliens, you would immediately get the idea on what happened in the first film, and as they clearly establish and such. But yeah, Aliens, to me, it is a masterpiece of a sequel, and of course, from that and the first Alien film being the two best Alien films of the Alien franchise. But, okay, now we'll come to you. What are the first things you have to say about Aliens?
Well, Aliens, and I'll go back to the first Alien, that whole series started as a really, what I think is the first true space horror fantasy.
Okay.
The best, for lack of a better way of putting it. In fact,
and it was the first Alien film. It did change the way we look at sci-fi and horror today.
It did, and it was because it was grittier. The Aliens, what I loved so much about Aliens, Alien was an excellent movie.
It was also a slasher,
and it was. And so was Aliens, but less so, but as much. At least with Aliens, we get to see that in the first Alien, you have one alien creature that just kills everyone on the ship, except with the exception of Ripley.
Yeah, also the cat.
Right.
The cat counts too.
So then you have this you have this aliens, when Aliens comes out,
plural of one, multiplying it to more,
and there's an army of them. Of course, you got all these Marines,
of course,
that are these space Marines that go in, and they've got these these high-tech this high-tech hardware, these guns that are just they can just cut them down easily. But the problem is, when they cut them down, they usually, instead of spewing blood, they spew acid.
Yes.
And because we know these aliens, this species, they have acid that runs through their veins instead of blood.
One drip of acid is just beyond crazy. Just
so, and you know, there's some of these soldiers, they get splattered with the blood, this acid, you know, and they realize, oh my gosh, these things have acid in them. But is also to the fact that it's just so well done. One scene where they look into, they raise one of the ceiling tiles and they look into the ceiling and they see all these aliens crawling through the ceiling coming toward them.
Right.
That's just, I mean, that's almost overwhelming. I mean, you're watching that in the movie theater, you're like, oh my God, you know, that's literally that kind of reaction.
But overall, because like the first time you had seen Aliens and what you thought of it and such, just what?
I liked it better than the first one. Because
but no hard feelings on the first one. Of course.
No. The first one is excellent in its own right. And I just liked the storyline better because it was like, okay, now they got the hardware, they got the firepower to go in there and kill these things, and they do kill them.
They've got the full gear for that. So.
Yeah, they've got the full gear for it. Interestingly, one of the caterpillar lifts that they use that are like it's like a humanized exoskeleton of a forklift, you know, where they can lift stuff which I thought was a really cool design. I got to see one of those that was actually in the movie. It was in Planet Hollywood, and
it would be the only Planet Hollywood we've been to as well. Downtown Disney,
which is now Disney Springs, and of course Planet Hollywood is still there. I'm not sure if that artifact is still there, but it was there. And it was life size, and it was sitting there. And the thing that I saw that I thought was unique, part of it that I saw was actually made of wood. So it was interesting how that was constructed, but it was so detailed and so well thought out that probably Caterpillar looked at that and thought, you know what, that might be something we could look at sometime, you know, as a design, because it was so unique. And of course, we know that of course is how she ultimately defeats the Queen Alien.
Yeah, but we'll get more into that later. But as always, read the description / the story. You want to take it from here, or?
After floating in space for 57 years, Lieutenant Ripley's Sigourney Weaver shuttle...
Played by Sigourney Weaver.
Played by Sigourney Weaver. Her shuttle is found by a deep space salvage team. Upon arriving in LV-426, the Marines find only one survivor, a 9-year-old girl named Newt. But even these battle-hardened Marines with all the latest weaponry are no match for the hundreds of aliens that have invaded the colony.
Yes.
I don't want to say they're no match. I would say that probably more than anything else, you know, there was especially with Bill Paxton's character, there was a level of high anxiety and downright terrified. He was terrified of those things when he saw what they could do. Right.
But getting into the film itself, because after what happened in the first Alien film, because the escaped shuttle that Ripley got into, along with the cat Jonesy, because, you know, eventually, you know, Ripley's discovered by a salvage team.
Yes.
And eventually, is brought back to the space station, obviously part of the Wayland Company. Yeah. So, and apparently, because she's been informed that from Burke, being played by Paul Reiser, am I saying that right?
Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser. Thank you. Yeah, that she had been out in space for 57 years. So, and there's and I think it's obvious because she's having a dream because like an alien in her stomach. Yeah, so thank God it was a dream and such. And basically, like, after 57 years, Ripley reporting back with information, stuff like that, what happened 57 years ago, what happened to her crew of the cargo ship Nostromo, and the people of the Wayland Company, just, like, I think, like, they are aware of the existence of the xenomorphs, but they're pretending, like, that Ripley is not right, you know. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
Just being jerks and such. They just want to keep things safe and quiet and not, I guess, freak out people over the xenomorphs and so on.
I think one of my favorite scenes in that movie, just speaking overall, was the drop ship, when they get in the drop ship and they drop out of the mothership, and the lieutenant, I think it's Lieutenant Gorman, who was actually in charge of the operation.
Played by William Hope.
Yes, he was. You could see the anxiety, you know, in his face. And the guy asked him. He says, "How many of these jumps have you done?" And he said, you know, he mentioned a number, and it was quite a few. It was like 20 or whatever. He goes, "How many?" He said, "How many simulated?"
Yeah.
And he said, 20. He'd never done a real drop before.
Yeah.
In a drop ship. So it was really cool to see how they did that, and those ships were really cool.
Mm-hmm. And coming back because, well, what I said, because, well, Ripley, like, she's letting them have it, and that basically, like, as much as she does the right thing, because, well, they like, disqualify her or something, you know, just boot her, give her the boot and such.
Yeah, and in fact, they should be listening to her intently.
Yes.
Because she had experienced them, and they're just kind of like, we'll go in there, we'll take care of them, we'll kick butt, you know, we're Marines.
Yeah.
Well, that's, you know.
Well, and the thing is, she also finds out that for 20 years... there's been a colony that's been placed there on that same planet that we saw in the first film, moon/planet, whatever. And the director's cut of Aliens, well, because we actually see the colony living there, and we see their kids and so on, and we, very early on in the director's cut, get our introduction of Newt, and Newt being played by young Carrie Henn. And she had a brother and parents, but sadly, and well, because when her parents, like, were investigating out there, they think they found something. They probably found something, and well, her and her brother remained in the vehicle that they were in, and eventually, well, because the mother comes back, but where's the dad? He's got a face hugger on him, and basically, like, what would come next for those poor people down the colony, and we also find out later on that they didn't know what to expect. I believe the Wayland Company, and especially this goes on Burke, they didn't tell the people, the colony and such, about them and so on, risking their lives, basically.
Yeah, Paul Reiser's character, he wanted to smuggle one of those eggs in,
yeah,
and he wanted to smuggle, and you know, he ended up getting killed, of course, but he was greedy. And he worked for that company and they wanted one of those aliens to study.
It's just like in the first movie when they programmed the android, you know, to bring back one of the aliens, the eggs and such, and they're still doing it even after 57 years when the first attempt of doing so. And well, because of what has happened at the colony and so on that planet, well, Burke, you know, informing Ripley about this, she's not interested, but, you know, the more convincing that he gives to Ripley and so on, and to consider and such, and she would go as an advisor. And eventually she does agree to tag along and so on, but under one condition: if they're going to wipe out the xenomorphs. And it seems like they're going to, and, well, because, you know, at least that's what she thinks, that's what she's hoping, but little does she know. And the introduction of the Marines, you know, boy, I mean, they're quite a colorful batch of characters, and with their personalities and so on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And as we mentioned Lieutenant Gorman. Then we mentioned the late legendary Bill Paxton as Private Hudson. There's also Bishop, who turns out to be another android.
I loved Bishop, and of course Sigourney Weaver
played by Lance
Henriksen. Ripley is put off by him at first.
Yeah, she is.
Understandably so, because the other android that they had on the first ship that she was on went berserk.
Yeah,
and she no longer trusted him. And of course, he's trying to reassure her, telling her, I'm really sorry you had that experience.
And besides,
that was a model, whatever.
That was an old model.
Yeah, and
he's a new android model, and especially after 57 years, and how these androids from the Wayland Company, they've come advanced and upgraded and such.
Right.
You know,
and he basically turns out to be a hero. You know,
he does. Yeah,
he turns out to be more of a hero than anybody else, practically.
And there's also Corporal Hicks, being played by Michael Biehn. And Michael Biehn, he previously worked with James Cameron in the Terminator films.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's also, I think she's definitely one of the fan favorites of Aliens, Private Vasquez, yeah, played by Janet Goldstein, and who would work with James Cameron again in Terminator 2.
Right.
Yeah. There's also Sergeant Appin. Am I saying that right? Yeah, Sergeant Appin.
So I would
he's played by Al Matthews.
Sergeant Apone.
Thank you. Yeah, and there's Private Drake being played by Mark Rolson, and there's Private what now?
Mark Rolston.
Yeah,
and Private Frost is Rico Ross.
And Corporal Farrow being played by Colette Hiller. Yeah. So yeah, and there's also Private Spunkmeyer being played by Daniel Cash, Corporal Dietrich, yep, played by Kathleen Dale Scott,
Cynthia.
Thank you, yeah, and Private Crow,
Tip Tipping,
yep, and
Trevor Steedman plays Private Wazowski.
Wazowski, I think the B silent.
Yeah, I think so.
And
too.
there's the Doctor, Mad Tech, Insurance Man, ECA Rep. Yeah, so
a lot of characters in that movie.
Yeah, oh, and there they are. They're uncredited. Yeah, because obviously the director's cut. Newt's father and mother, and Newt's brother right there too, Christopher Henn. But yeah, so pretty much like those who are uncredited. Because as always, we have the IMDb page. We always have IMDb. Like those who are uncredited in Aliens, pretty much yeah. Because as I mentioned, yeah. The director's cut and the appearances of Newt's full family, yeah, being in the director's cut. I mean, did you ever see the director's cut?
I did not see the director's cut.
Okay. Well, neither have I, but I mean, I watched I watched bits and pieces of Aliens, clips that are on YouTube, and yeah, that being one of them from the director's cut that when we see the colony early on. But anyways, so yeah, eventually they get to the planet. Again, the same planet, the same location and such as in the first movie, which being, LV 426. And Akron.
Akron.
Yeah.
LV 426.
Yeah, and that's the letters and numbers that planet is given for. So and yeah, because when they get there, and because and it's amazing because with the machine, the ships they have, and also almost like a tank vehicle they have, Yeah.
Ironically, where this is located, this gas giant, this is in the this planet, this LT4 whatever.
Yeah.
Is actually
LV
426.
Yeah.
It's actually in the it's listed as being in the Zeta Reticuli system, 38 light years from Earth. Which means it would take you, if you were traveling at light speed, it would take you 38 years to get to Earth at that, traveling. But Zeta Reticuli is said to be where the alien grays come from. So I think that's interesting. We're talking about aliens, and then this whole
thing. How that's kind of incorporated in this in this movie. But also, yeah, the spaceship USS
Sulaco.
Yeah, I wanted to mention the spaceship, yeah, and you know what? Because just like in the first movie, and with this, the sequel doesn't disappoint with amazing practical effects from the ships. From the ships and of course the xenomorphs.
Oh, absolutely.
And the cargo device that she uses. I know there's a specific name to it, but because at one point she is asking if there's anything she can do, and she's interested in handling one of those.
She's certified. She said she was certified and checked out on one, so they let her operate one.
Yeah. And also again with the Marines, look up the name of those in Aliens, but there is, because again with the Marine characters, because again they have their personalities, and exactly what they're like, especially Bill Paxton's character. He's quite of a handful, and there's one moment where they want Bishop to do the knife thing. And they trick Hudson by putting his hand there, and just Hudson just very quickly, and just Hudson is freaking out. That was a funny moment.
It's called a P5000 powered workloader.
Workloader,
commonly referred to as the power loader, was a commercial mechanized exoskeleton manufactured by Caterpillar and was used for lifting heavy materials and objects. Very cool concept. Very cool design, and looks very much that it could be, its design could be, it could be created and used in lifting applications, things like that, because it was just phenomenal how that thing operated.
Yep.
That was, to me, that was the neatest machine in that whole movie.
And it was practical. It was practical from as I recall. So.
Yeah, it would. They stored easily. They could be easily maneuvered and manipulated. It was just almost like, as it says, it's an exoskeleton that gives them more power, more lifting power, where they can literally get a hold of things, but even better than a forklift could. So it just, I thought it was an interesting concept.
Yeah. And again, as I mentioned, because what do you think? Because that moment where Bishop doing the knife trick and on Hudson.
that was fascinating. Yeah, Bill Paxton, he played that scene very well. And of course, they sped it up. It was sped up.
Yeah, they did. There's no way they would just, there's no way they would have let him just do that fast.
Oh, no. He was, I'm sure in real life he was going like that.
Yeah.
And he.
Well, I mean, it does start slow at first, but then Bishop is very quickly at doing it fast.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, because I don't know if you know this, because with the liquid and such that comes from the androids.
Yeah, the white fluid, almost like milk.
Do you know? Because that was milk.
It wasn't milk.
Yes, it was, but along with it, it's a mixture. You do not know this?
No, I didn't know this. I never knew this.
It's a mixture of milk and yogurt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would be, at least it would be palatable, to put in your mouth. And
yeah, I think even watching some of behind the scenes, what Lance Hendrickson had to, his comment on the milk and yogurt.
What did he say?
I don't know, because I'll have to go back and look, but just, I it's kind of funny, just in what he says, but, but especially for milk and yogurt, those two things, because they are especially known for going bad,
Well, yeah, but I'm sure they kept them fresh on the movie set.
Obviously, but
mixed them up
know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And yes, obviously they would have to use very fresh milk and yogurt when it would come to shots of liquid coming out of androids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but continuing on, because, they're on the planet and such, and, because looking for survivors and so on, and, because what they would discover further on, especially down below, and, want to take this from here, because what else they do when they get there, and...
Well, they do find Newt, of course.
Yeah, especially Ripley, finding Newt as well. So.
Right. So, but when they get down in it, they basically find the you might say the Queen's.
No, they don't quite get there yet where the Queen is.
Okay, well, I'm getting ahead of it. Then go ahead.
Because how far they go down? Well, they find something and very disturbing and chilling. And you know what? Because I wanted to mention this because in Aliens, they of course the Aliens does deliver the horror, but also it delivers the action and so on. So the horror stuff that happens, and when they get there, and coming face to face with at least one surviving human, that's been trapped and such, and sadly dies, and to speed things up, all hell breaks loose when the xenomorphs pop up, and one by one attacking the Marines, and one by one, all of them not surviving, and again, just one by one, as the film takes its time, each of the Marines, sadly meeting their demise and so on. Even they are trapped, and because Ripley and the others, they are still in that tank and such, and Ripley, she wants to rescue them, and she's going to take action in her own hands and driving that tank in there and to save them.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel as though, and I think it's obvious, Private Vasquez.
Vasquez.
She was very connected with one of the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like they had a really good bond. But sadly, because he meets his demise, and she's wanting to save him, but there's really nothing she can do. He's done for.
Yeah. Of course, she ends up being done for as well.
Yeah, but until we get to that, and that sequence where the tank is being driven and just getting out of there, even crushing one of the xenomorphs with the tires. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Yeah,
and their attempt,
those were cool vehicles.
Yeah, and their attempt to escape the planet, it doesn't go so well. Because, Colonel Farrow, and another one, those that are in the ship that drop them off, they're supposed to get them and such, out of nowhere, and somehow the xenomorphs, they manage to get on board, and they kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And
crashes the ship,
and they're trapped. And there's a lot of great famous lines in this, and especially one particularly from Private Hudson. That's it, game over, man, game over.
Yeah.
And there's a reference to that, because the whole thing of game over.
I remember his character was so funny because he was really kind of echoing how probably a lot of the audience felt when they were watching that movie, because they're thinking, "Oh my God, now they're in." He's like,
What?
"Game over,"
because like, what are they supposed to do now? It seems like they're done for.
Yeah.
But thankfully, what would come next, and they would still find a way to get out of there. Mm-hmm. Also, another funny line from Private Hudson, because, well, when it came to, before they would go down the planet, because Ripley was talking to them about, when she witnessed a xenomorph and so on, and, well, even Private Hudson, because, the Sergeant Apone, because, any questions, and, what is it, Hudson, how do I get out of this chicken shithole?
Yeah, I remember that.
He has his reasons.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And he was right. What would come next? Again, they're stuck down there. And, forgot to mention this because, again, Jonesy, the cat, had survived along with Ripley. And it's obvious that, Jonesy had to stay behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least, this is the cat, thank goodness that the cat survived throughout the entirety of the first Alien film, and it was best for the cat to stay behind. So that's Jonesy for us, and also Newt, because she does, like, for some reason, because after what happened, like, she doesn't talk at first to them.
That's true, but then we find out she can talk.
Yeah.
Because you first almost think that she's just she's like a deaf mute or something, that she can't.
Yeah.
She just can't talk.
And like what? So they, like, she doesn't understand their language or something.
Yeah, it's almost you have to wonder at the beginning, what is this little girl? What's this? She's obviously been trapped here, and she's obviously learned how to elude the aliens, the xenomorphs. And
she's a survivor, a trooper,
mm-hmm.
managing to survive and hide from the xenomorphs. And she even has a doll. There's a name of the doll. Do you remember? Because
I can't remember the name of the doll.
I'll put a text so you guys or if you want to look it up. But anyways, so again, they're trapped and such. And what are they going to do now? Because while they're trying to figure it out, moments with Ripley and Newt, they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And Ripley really, it doesn't take too long for Ripley to really bond with Newt and being like a mother to Newt and such. And, well, because seeing as how, Newt pretty much lost her entire family. Casey. Casey, that's the name. Okay, don't need to put a text. So, if you didn't see a text because, well, Little Blue just looked it up, so. At times, Newt would mention and talk about Casey and such, and, Ripley technically interacting with the doll, and, Ripley tucking Newt into bed at one point, and, because, anything else you want to mention between that time, because,
No, I mean it's no. There was
and while they're still stuck, and until more crazy shit happens.
There was a really good relationship established between Ripley and Newt.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see. It was like her maternal instincts kicked in.
Yeah.
Ripley's did, and she took care of her.
Did it sound like at times, this just popped in my head, and I have a good reason asking this, because I just feel as though, don't you think at times it's almost sounded like Newt was speaking British?
Maybe.
Especially when a good chunk of times where she says the word mostly.
Yeah, let's just.
Yeah, because a good chunk of times where she says the word mostly. So, but honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the way she said it. I guess I don't know, but So
she's a former American child actress. 48 years old now.
Okay, so probably it was just the way. It's probably just the way she said it. How she said mostly. But anyways.
Yeah.
So still, while they're still trapped there, and just what else are they gonna do? Well, because things really get out of hand. Well, and especially it comes up to where, and even though because we mentioned it early on, Ripley getting more information such from Burke, and again, because it turns out, with the colony being there, and because they were there for 20 years, they were not aware of what to really expect. And Ripley just basically pointing and blaming Burke on this, sending them there and they would meet their demise. And, well, because, her knowing what the Wayland Company is like, and because of what happened in the first movie, yeah, like she's not putting up with this again, from the Wayland Company.
Right.
And, and Burke, because Burke seemed like a nice and honest and decent guy and helping out Ripley and such, and understanding her and trying to help her and such. But what would come next and what he would do, just unbelievable.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. In fact, when there was a show that came on NBC in the mid-'90s called, from the early '90s to the late '90s, called Mad About You, and Paul Reiser starred in it along with Helen Hunt. And I loved that show. Okay. I actually loved it more than Friends. But they had the Paul Reiser playing in it. It took me a little bit to kind of get used to it, because I remembered what a jerk he was in that movie.
Well, I mean, that was just the character.
I know that, but I just thought, wow! I thought the last time I saw him, he played the biggest jerk I've ever seen in my life.
You know who else played a big jerk? Twice, I think. What's his face from Ghostbusters and Die Hard? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Walter from Ghostbusters and the reporter guy from.
Yeah.
You know,
I know who you're talking about.
He's another big one that has played jerk characters.
Yeah, and it's sometimes
they're quite good at it.
If they're good at it, they're good at it.
Yeah. So again, like that's just the character that he was in Aliens. So so yeah, again, Burke just doing the same thing as like what the robot Ash did. Yeah, Ash, the android. What happens next? Like, Ripley going back into the room where Newt was at, and she can see that, Newt is under the bed that she was sleeping on and, hiding, and Ripley joining her and such, and they snuggle and, they go to sleep. But then at one point Ripley wakes up, and just so happens, there's danger lurking in the room, and it turns out to be a facehugger. Actually, two facehuggers. And Ripley's trying to get the Marines' attention, but Burke is blocking it. He turned off like the security camera. That boy, he's really taking it too far.
Because he wants a host.
He does.
He wants at least one host to take one of the aliens back.
Determined, just no matter what it takes, he's just going to find a way to follow orders and to bring back, just at least just one xenomorph back to the company. But eventually, and smart thinking on Ripley, because the only way to get the Marines' attention, setting off the fire alarm. Just so happens to be one there, and yes, lighting up a match, and this gets their attention. They break down the windows. She couldn't break them in the room because of how that glass was made, but they could on the outside. And they take down the face huggers, and Ripley informing them that it was Burke. And nice to see on the Marines that, because now they despise Burke. And, especially, I especially love it because, Private Hudson's dialogue, I say we wrap this F son of a bitch. And
I remember.
He had a good reason saying that stuff. So.
Yeah, they were ready to end him, and, rightfully so. But he ends up getting his just reward.
Yeah, even when he tried, he was willing to just kill all of them, and and for any alien to take them as a host,
just to get one back to his company.
And things still get out of hand, especially when they can track and see that they're nearby, and apparently they realize that they're up top the ceiling or something, and just that one moment where one of them looking up, and we see the xenomorphs crawling. Oh God!
That's what I was saying. Is just one. That's one of the most. That is one of the most terrifying scenes in the movie, because you just have this overwhelming feeling. There's no way they're going to get out of this.
No, not at all.
Which they do, clearly.
Yeah, of course they do. And again, even when Burke closes the door on them, but they still get out and such. They get out, and Burke, of course, he meets his demise, rightfully so. And this, for once we're rooting for the xenomorphs.
Yeah. Tearing to pieces,
And that's pretty much, we don't see it on screen, but we
know that's what happens.
We can take a good guess what happens to Burke.
Oh,
he's farewell, Burke.
Yeah, he was ripped from limb to limb.
That close up shot of the xenomorph just opening his mouth, and we see the teeth.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
Those teeth. That's another thing I think that terrified a lot of people, was the fact that the thing had trap jaw. Basically, it would open its mouth, and
a tongue was like the mouth and such,
and the extra jaw would come out, extend out, with more teeth. I mean, it was just incredible how they designed it.
Yeah. And let's talk more about the practical effects, because again, the practical effects are amazing. Not to mention, especially for the xenomorphs, done by the late legendary Stan Winston and his company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they did a spot-on job bringing the xenomorphs to life in this.
Stan Winston, whom I think also played a part in The Predator.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And he, of course, played a huge part in the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yes.
Yes, and Terminator
Mm-hmm.
as well. And that's the thing, because Stan Winston, he would wind up being in another really good, alien-related film from 20th Century Fox, which, of course, being Predator.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, can't forget to mention this, I've been meaning to bring this up, too. Bishop, he basically... There is a way for them to escape. Basically, send a distress signal or something to basically alert for a ship from the USS. What's the name of the ship again? I'll get to it.
Sulaco.
Yeah, basically sending a beacon to a ship to automatically come down and get them,
Mm-hmm.
He has to crawl his ways through, I guess, a pipe or something, and he makes his way outside, and, for quite a while, just, working on it as best he can to send out, a beacon and for a ship to automatically come down and such from the USS...
Sulaco.
Yeah, thank you. So, anything on that because of what Bishop does and how, when he was he made his way and, he managed to not get attacked by a xenomorph and he successfully made his way and such,
Yes.
Just anything to say on that and what Bishop does?
No, well, Bishop is key as part of the rescue.
Yes.
When the planet is blowing up, basically. And
well, actually, just the base, where the colony was and such, it'll very soon blow up.
Yeah.
Because the remaining Marines, along with Ripley and Newt, just making their way through the air ducts and such, and them just shooting down the xenomorphs, and eventually, because at one point, Private Veskus, getting a drop of acid on her, and just one drop of acid from the xenomorphs hurts like crazy, severe wounds, and so she gets wounded, and I believe, it's her, Corporal Hicks, and I believe, Gorman, they're the last surviving ones, and poor Private Hudson, he didn't make it.
Mm-mm.
He sadly meets his
demise.
demise.
We pretty much knew that was going to happen. I mean, the guy was so scared that he just... you're like, how did you get to be a Marine, being so scared,
Well, I mean...
Marines are scared when they're in battle, or any human being would be, but he was to the point that he was just,
Well, at least he managed to be tough at times.
Well,
yeah, and one especially one big one where he was just gun pointing at Burke.
He was a big whiner though. So,
yeah. And so sadly, Hudson meets his demise, and that also goes for Gorman and Vasquez and them sacrificing themselves, and when they set off a grenade, and that causes a huge explosion, and how far Ripley, Corporal Hicks, and Newt have come to because of that explosion causes some of them to trip, and Newt falling down a vent, I want to say, and falling down into water, and because something is going to happen. That something is most likely going to happen.
Literally.
And where Newt is at right now. And sure enough, a xenomorph showing up, and she's captured. And because how distraught Ripley is by this, and she's going to do whatever it takes to rescue Newt, but also Bishop still, and by this point he managed to successfully send a beacon to another ship to automatically, fly down to the atmosphere and such, and so now, it's up to Ripley. She's going in there by herself to go down below and to find Newt if she possibly survived. Because even Corporal Hicks, he even got wounded too, but thankfully he did manage to survive towards the end of the film. So Ripley going down, and that moment where she goes down, and she does think at first that probably Newt didn't make it, but when we do see Newt, she's all right. She awakens, and she can see that a egg opens, and a facehugger is coming towards her, and her screaming, and that, of course, alerts Ripley. And, yeah, we'll come to you like anything because of where we're at, you know?
Well, I mean, it's just always on the edge, you know, just keeps you on your edge, on the edge of your seat, you know, when you're watching this movie, because there's so many close calls. And so many times, you know, where Ripley, Newt, they come so close so many times for death.
Yeah.
And but they get, you know, they always manage to just dumb luck.
You know, and luckily, and when Ripley went down there by herself, like in the first movie, having a flamethrower gun in handy. So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, eventually, Ripley and Newt, they are reunited and such, and they're attempt to get out of there. But the moment finally comes when we see, like, there's something laying these eggs, and we finally see
the queen,
the big reveal, the alien queen. So, and that being the twist, because there's not just more xenomorphs, but there's a queen alien.
And you see that she has control over the xenomorphs.
Yes,
they're basically her drones.
Well, yeah, because she is a queen, so
and they just kind of fall back, you know.
Well, because Ripley basically was threatening the alien queen, like setting off the flamethrower and such, and you know, because that's her way, and you know, even without saying a word, and even the alien queen can know and sense, and her turning to the xenomorphs and just telling them to just back away, you know, stand down.
The neatest scene was, you know, she's rescued Newt. She's got there. She's basically telling the queen, "Let us leave in peace, and we will leave you be.
If you don't do anything, we will.
We will leave you in peace." And as soon as they're backing out, one of the eggs open up, and the look on Ripley's face.
They should have known they would not spare them.
And she looks at the queen like, you know, just like that, kind of cocks her head.
I warned you.
And boom, that was it. And the queen goes nuts, man. She just and she pulls herself away from the hive.
She detaches herself.
Detaches herself from the egg sack, and which was kind of gross, really. It was like that had to hurt, you know.
Well, obviously. So
so she's and she comes after Ripley, and you're thinking, okay, these xenomorphs were one thing, but this queen xenomorph, oh my gosh, this thing is like twice as big as they are.
And the alien queen's she's not going to let them escape that easily.
Oh no.
And just like them making their way in, well, because the location of that base, you know, where the colony was, because I think by this point it's been set to self-destruct.
Yes.
And like they take an elevator, and you know what was insane is that the alien queen knew how to get into an elevator.
I thought of that. I thought when I watched it at the theater, I thought, please tell me that thing has not figured out how to get on an elevator. Of course, they're highly intelligent, clearly, so they can, you know, if they can build spaceships, which they did. You know, we saw their spaceship in Alien. You know, we saw what was left of it, at least, and so they have that ability. But you know, you don't think about something like that having the intelligence to push a button and get on an elevator. You know, but it did.
Yes. And
you're like thinking, how is this thing fitting on there? But it must have just kind of, you know.
Well, if I remember correctly, I mean that the size of those elevators,
they were big.
They were quite big, and big enough to fit the alien queen. So
and so they get up to the top. They see the floor coming. They know she's on it.
Well, and also there's no sign of the ship.
No sign of the ship.
Like, you know, damn you, Bishop!
Everything's blowing up around them, you know.
Yeah.
And just when, you know,
when the queen alien
gets off the elevator, and she says she hides Newt's faces. Don't look, baby.
And they think that it's the end.
Here comes Bishop to the rescue
perfect timing to pop up again
in the ship, in the drop ship. And
luckily they escape. So
they escape,
and also a huge explosion, like almost like a nuclear explosion.
Yeah. And they barely make it. They barely make it off. They get back to the ship.
Corporal Hicks still okay, but still needs to be attended to his wounds and such. Everything's okay and such, and because besides there was no it seemed like, and there was no sign of the alien queen assumed to believe that probably she was destroyed in the explosion too.
Exactly.
And because when they get back and everything's safe and sound now, and again, Corporal Hicks, he'll have to be attended to and such, and by this point Ripley has come to appreciate and trust and like Bishop, and because clearly, like Bishop, not just like how the other android was in the first film, So,
and by this time we're all relaxed, thinking, oh, they made it, wonderful.
And they happen to see like a drop of acid, like.
And then the next thing you know, the point of this tail goes through Bishop's, goes right through the middle of him.
Yes.
Rips him in half.
Like gets like he comes closer and it just rips him and such.
And the liquid, the basically the fluid that keeps him lubricated inside just starts spewing out of his mouth, which is gross.
Yeah, the practical effects on Bishop being like split in half were fantastic.
Oh, they were amazing. And
Lance, I remember looking at the behind the scenes still, and Lance, his comment on seeing like the practical fake version of himself, like if I remember correctly, and I think it's obvious, like very eerie and such,
Oh, sure, I'm sure it was, yeah. But so now he's lying in two pieces.
Yeah.
His upper torso, his brain, he still works because he's an android. He doesn't have to have he has redundant systems. He doesn't have to have his the lower part of his body to function. So he's still able to, function and actually saves him, from...
And Ripley, getting the Queen Alien's attention, running into a cargo hold and such. But then the attention is turned on to Newt, and she, cleverly, gets down and, just,
has her cornered, and the next thing
the Alien Queen, ripping those things out, trying to get to her and such. And then
the next moment is the door raises up and Ripley comes walking out.
Her going in there and closing the door, she knew what she was doing.
She comes out when that caterpillar power mover comes out and just stops and looks at her and says, "Get away from her, you bitch!" And the thing goes.
I know,
this is like a cat almost.
Just the shots with the Queen Alien and the practical shots and how the mouth stretches out and such, and just the hissing and everything.
And you're thinking, okay, she's now it's as the old saying goes, sauce for the goose. The odds are even. Ripley's in this exoskeleton, this power lifter thing, and this caterpillar, and she can go after it, but she still has to watch out because his tail whips around,
of course,
like an iguana, and
watch out for the tongue that's another jaw and such.
Yeah, which is neat because she has the flamethrower, the torch that she can ignite, and it gets her off of her for a second. But what ends up happening is they end up Ripley opens the door. Because what she's going to do is blow her into space.
Yeah, she trying to get the Alien Queen down to what's the word? A hatch and such. Space hatch or something.
Hatch to blow the hatch and blow the Queen.
Get her down there, but the Alien Queen taking down with her.
Takes her down with her, and she screams and yells, and she pulls her down. And Ripley at one point,
and she successfully gets out of the cargo loader, and
the cargo loader has the Queen pinned against the cargo door.
Yes,
she gets out, climbs up, and she gets the door open, but she gets her arm like this tucked in into the ladder, so she doesn't get sucked out. The Alien Queen grabs her leg, right, and she's able to hold on, and the Alien Queen slips away, and goes into space, and it's
Alien
done.
Queen. The Alien Queen's done for, but still,
closes the hatch.
But still, Ripley just getting up there, and because the space is sucking out the air and such, and they're blown out. It's still it's still intense even after the Queen Alien's done for. But thankfully, Ripley just sealing the hatch and such. And a moment where, they're taking a little bit of a minute and such to breathe and so on and be relaxed.
And apparently, those xenophobes, they can actually survive.
Xenomorphs.
They can survive in the vacuum of space.
But there's nothing left for them to do because they're just stranded out there floating. So.
Yeah, that's it. They'll float till they starve to death.
Yeah. And also, and that moment, because when everything is now good, and just that sweet moment where Newt calls Ripley, mommy.
Yeah.
And Bishop complimenting Ripley, not bad for a human.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there was a mutual respect there for with Ripley and Bishop.
Well, again, because at that point Ripley came to appreciate and know that Bishop is not a bad android, unlike the last one she was with.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides, who says not every android in the Alien franchise would have to be bad ones,
Well, that's true, but all the ones that we come across,
and especially because they're programmed, how they're programmed.
Oh, the alien. You mean the androids?
Yes, the androids.
I thought you said aliens.
I said androids.
Oh, okay. I thought you said aliens.
And the epilogue because, well, going into hypersleep once again.
Yep.
And Newt asking Ripley, can I dream? And of course, and assuring her that of course she can. Mm-hmm. Dream together and so on. And just like how the first one ended, like, Ripley peacefully going into hypersleep, and the same goes for this one.
Yeah.
And just, the end credits and how the music plays, fantastic, an interesting way to end it off, just, and this movie's way of there being a happy ending, so...
Yeah, happy endings are nice, especially after going through all that. I mean, you're worn out by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You're physically and emotionally just drained.
Absolutely, yeah. And also... can't forget to mention this because the music and score by the late legendary James Horner.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Because James Horner, he never disappointed with the music and score that he brought, especially some of those films that he did music and scores for in the 80s and such. Like, there's that and The Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
So
scored The Wrath of Khan. He was an excellent composer.
And the Search for Spock, too.
Yes. He was an excellent.
And, because I feel like mentioning this because I think it's obvious, like... I know that you and I have talked about this. Every composer, in their music and score, they have their own style, how they do the music and score and with the instruments. Mm-hmm. So for James Horner, yeah, and I was almost like getting some pieces of music I was getting like Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock vibes.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, if you would remember, just there's some certain bits and pieces of music in Aliens.
I do believe that there are, as I've said, there's composers who will borrow from certain pieces and they'll build on it. So that's
some certain keys.
Yeah, that's probably what you picked up on.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah, but overall, because what James Horner brought to the music and score for Aliens, just fantastic, and no complete stranger to doing something science fiction.
Oh no!
And especially this is after he did the Star Treks 2 and 3.
Yes.
So, and he would of course once again work with James Cameron. I believe he did. I think he might have done the music and score for say The Abyss. I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And, of course, he also did the music and score for, say, his best-known works of doing music and score, Titanic and Avatar. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, nice to see because, how, James Horner, worked with James Cameron a couple of times. So, and until, sadly, he would tragically die. So, yeah. But, yeah, just overall, Aliens, it is a masterpiece of a film sequel, don't you think?
Yep, 5 stars.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, because to finish with our final results and such, like the story is fantastic, the characters and what was going on in the film, the action, the practical effects, the music and score, the intenseful stuff, the emotional and funny moments, and just out of nowhere moments. Just overall, Aliens. It did not disappoint. It's one, and per my French, it's true. It's one hell of a film sequel, and seems as though like it kind of tops off the first one.
Yep.
But again, no hard feelings on the first one because, let's face it, the first Alien film and this one, they're the best in the Alien franchise. Just like, say, how in Star Wars, the first two, A New Hope and Empire, are considered two of the best Star Wars films.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's that example. For me, I really enjoy Aliens. I of course enjoy this and the first one. Yeah, because you can't top off, and who says you can't enjoy both of them? I mean, I think pretty much it's a tie between the first and the sequel. Where the story was going and with the characters, the development of the characters, knowing who they are, especially the Marines, just the intenseful moments. Like, I really enjoyed it, and the many times I've watched it, just fantastic. What more do I have to say? Aliens. It's a masterpiece of a sequel, one of the top best film sequels of all time. Sounds right?
Mm-hmm.
And
agreed.
And yeah, because this being the first sequel to Alien, and yeah, it did not disappoint. It's amazing. And what are your final words, thoughts, and results on Aliens?
It was a pioneering film. Alien was a pioneering film, certainly.
Yes.
In that genre of that space horror fantasy. And
fantasy is like...
I would call it space horror, sci-fi space horror. Sci-fi horror. There we go. Sci-fi horror. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said too.
Sci-fi horror. So the sci-fi horror...
And it changed, as I said, it changed the first Alien film, it changed the way we look at sci-fi horror.
Exactly. And the second one was an excellent follow-up. Just an excellent follow-up. Sometimes sequels fall flat. Yeah. This one did not. This one did not disappoint.
Nope.
5 stars. I'll say again, 5 stars.
And it was like a next level up and such for the Alien franchise when this film happened.
Yes.
So again, you give it 5 stars?
Yes.
And for me, well, I think it's obvious. 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars. And for him, 5 out of 5 stars for Aliens.
He scores on a 10 scale. I score on a 5 scale. So 5 being the best for me, 10 being the best for him. So we both think it's a perfect film. There you go.
And everybody does that, you know, like whether, like if they go with 5 out of 5 ranking or 10 out of 10 ranking. So, so again, 10 out of 10 for me and 5 out of 5 for my dad on Aliens. You know, again, it's a masterpiece of a sequel. What more do we have to say? Just, Aliens, fantastic, perfect in every way. So, what about you guys? What do you think of Aliens itself? Were you blown away the first time you watched this? And any of you that saw the first Alien film before this? Yeah. What were yours? What were some of your favorite moments? And did you get good laughs? Because, with the funny moments and also some emotional moments too, and the intenseness of the film, the reveal of the Queen Alien, just all the shocking moments, and also with the music and score. Yeah, just overall, what do you think of Aliens, and is it your favorite in the Alien franchise? I have no doubt that most likely a good chunk of you would favorite this film. Yeah. And with what we've had to say about it, our review, and what did you think of our review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed our review of Aliens. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and we'll see you guys in the next video / review. And of course, continuing on with the Alien review marathon because, well, when it seemed like things were looking pretty good and how Aliens turned out to be a masterpiece of a sequel, what would come next? Spoilers, it was a hot mess for the third film. Do you recall?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, too.
That's when I shut down on the Alien film. They said, when the fourth Alien movie came out, I went, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Well, thankfully, very later on when, say, the prequel film Prometheus came out, that turned out to be pretty good, too.
It did.
Yeah. But, just overall, at that time, and because how long it took for Fox trying to make another Alien film, well, and what would happen next? And also, very quick mention, you realize that Ridley Scott was not involved in Aliens?
Oh, okay.
Maybe he just opted out, not doing it, and I'm sure he was very impressed what Cameron brought. So but just overall, again, continuing on with the Alien review marathon. Stay tuned later this week for Alien 3. Okay, and any last words? Say goodbye and such.
I must be off.
He says that. For me, again, thank you for watching. Take care and peace out.